What's up, folks? I'm Dwayne, and this is Blackboard Gaming, where we teach you about all these great board games that are out there, waiting to be played by you and yours. I'm a simple man, don't wanna complication. Hey, everybody. Yep, as you can see, it's just little old me. Alicia is not joining me for today's video because today I want to talk about 5 of my favorite games that I have played that are not in our collection, that we don't own. And this is a type of list that Alicia doesn't have a lot of input because 95% of the board games that she's played are in our collection. And as you can see, we do have a lot of board games. Now, but there are so many board games out there that I want to play. You know, some older titles that you can't find anymore, or just some newer ones that are just hitting the streets. And there's many more coming out. So I am fortunate enough to have a group of board game enthusiasts who have become really good friends of mine. And we meet up on Friday night to play different board games. And they're always introducing me to board games that as a whole, I have thoroughly enjoyed. And some of them have become some of my favorites, you know. And now, there are some games that didn't hit the mark for me, but I'm not here to talk about those games. I really talk about games, like I said, that have become my favorite. And I wanted to share some of those games with you. So today we're going to talk about my five favorite board games that are not in our collection. So without wasting any time, let's get right to it. Now, before getting into the list, I want to give you guys 2 honorable mentions. And they're honorable mentions because these are games that I was just introduced to this past Friday. And I really enjoyed both of them. And I could see with more plays, they could become some of my favorites. You know, I don't know if they'll get into the top 5, but they're really good games. Now, the first game is a game that came out a few years ago, and that's called Crusaders, Thy Will Be Done. In Crusaders, we take on the role of knights, and we are traveling around the map board doing our crusading stuff, you know. And we're trying to gain influence because influence are the points at the end of the game, whoever has the most influence. And so what I really enjoyed about this game is on your personal player board, you have a rondel. And the rondel is made of 6 wedges that show you which actions you can take. There's travel, there's build, there's influence, and there's crusade and muster. You know, you want to muster up your forces. And so on your turn, you're going to pick one of those wedges. There's also cubes out on the rondel. So you're going to pick one of those wedges or those actions. And then based on the number of cubes on that specific wedge, that's how powerful your action is going to be. So for example, if you decide to travel and there are 4 cubes there, and then that means you can move your knights out on the board up to 4 times. And you can split it between your different knights. And then once you take your action, you're going to take those cubes and then place them Mancala style around the wheel in clockwise order, 1 in each wedge. So now your next action is a little bit more powerful, whatever it is you decide to do. And so it's easy to teach, but that strategy of figuring out like, okay, how I'm going to gain influence. If I do this now, this will make this action more powerful. There's also a way, you know, you could take a turn where you can upgrade one of your wedges, you know. So now it'll have 2 actions instead of 1 on that specific wedge. And I think this is a great game to introduce to people who are new to the hobby. Like I say, it's not that hard to teach, but figuring out that strategy, I think they will really enjoy it. And that is Crusaders. Thy Will Be Done. Now, the second game is a game that was just released at Essen. And that game is called Stevens. And in Stevens, we are glass makers. And we're going to create, you know, fulfill projects. We're gaining glass from the different factories. Now, the cool thing about it is you one of the actions you could take is hire an employee, and when you hire an employee, you're going to place them in one of those factories, based to the right or the left, based on which side you hired that employee from. And so now, and then you're going to put one of your wooden tokens on there. Now, removing a wooden token from your personal player board will give you an upgrade, give you a special power rather, And so now when players go get glass, whoever has employees in that factory will get benefits. Like you'll get influence, you'll get coins, you'll get, more glass or whatever. And so influence, you will use influence in order to get new projects that you can work on, and you use coins in order to upgrade your factory. They give you like bonuses at the end of the round. And this game has a lot of layers to it. It's some that I question, like, what's the purpose of this? Like there's a way you have to build it, set the cards in pyramid style. So I don't understand that, but I did enjoy that game. I definitely want to play this game again, and that is Stefan's. So now, on to the list. Now the game that's sitting at number 5 is a game that's rated high on Board Game Geek. I think it's rated at number 34 on their favorite board games list, and that is Orleans. Now, they keep wanting to say Orleans, but I believe they pronounce it Orleans. And so Orleans is a bag builder. I've only played it maybe like 2 or 3 times, and I have not done well at this game, because of the bag building aspect. But I love bag building games, like with Quacks of Quedlinburg being like my favorite. As many times I played that game, I have yet to win Quacks. So in Orleans, you're trying to hire followers. That's the discs that go into your bag. And so you got boatmen and farmers and knights. And you're drawn from this bag a specific number. And then you're going to assign them to different actions. Different actions require specific followers. So you're traveling around on the board, or you're building up houses, or you're fulfilling contracts, stuff like that. And even though I have not done well at this game, I really enjoy it. The bag building aspect, because you're mitigating what you're putting into your bag. So I definitely want to revisit this. And I know some people are like, "Whoa, Orleans is high on my list. How can it be at number 5?" Trust me, there's some games that's coming up that I really did enjoy. But I do want to revisit Orleans. And it's a game that I don't have in the collection, but I might have it soon, because Brian is he's getting the upgraded one. So he might sell me that one. I don't know. But I definitely want to revisit that game. And that is Orleans. The game that's sitting at number 4 is a game that I really would like to have in the collection. And it probably be rated at number 2, or at least, or number 1, But the thing is, I've only played the game once, and it was a while ago. But I really enjoyed my play of the game, and that is Rococo. Now, in Rococo, we own tailoring companies back in France at the time of Louis XV. And he's throwing this grand ball, and all the people that's going to this shindig are clamoring to us to get luxury dresses or frock coats made for them to go to this ball. And so throughout the game, you're playing cards in order to hire employees, to gain cloth, to create these garments, or you're also adding decorations. And this game also has some area majority, which this is one of the earliest games where I started appreciating area majority, that didn't have to deal with dudes on a map or whatever. And the game is beautiful. Of course, he had the deluxe version, so it had the metal coins and wooden tokens. And the game is aesthetically beautiful. I love the art. The art is by Ian O'Toole, who's a great artist. And like I played it at the full 5 player count. Now I think I actually won, you know, and maybe that had something to do with it. But I really enjoyed Rococo because of the theme, because of what you're doing, the aesthetics. I really like that game. And like I said, this could easily be like number 2 or number 1, but I need to get more plays into it, you know. But I know it will be a standout. And that's Rococo. The game that's sitting at the number 3 spot is a pirate game called Dead Reckoning. And you know how much I really like my pirate games. And so Dead Reckoning is a sandbox pirate game where you're exploring the map, discovering uncharted islands, of course, you know, finding treasure. You are upgrading your pirate ship by giving it more cannons or making it where it can hold more cargo. And you're upgrading your crew. But that's the thing I like about the game, because it's like a deck building, but it's more like a card crafting system. Instead of getting more cards to put into your deck, the cards that you start with are transparent cards, and you're getting more cards to slide into different crew members. That's making their actions more powerful when you play them. And so I really, really enjoyed the game. The game is beautiful. You're also battling with, your other opponents or other ships that's out on the board. The thing, I'm not a big fan of the battle system, like you're dropping cubes into this tower. I mean, it's kind of fun to do, but it, like I said, with my luck, it doesn't really work out in my favor. But I really like everything else about this game. Just sailing around the map, the art is beautiful, and that's Dead Reckoning. And like I said, I got a lot of pirate games, so I don't see getting another one, but I really enjoy that game. So my number 2 favorite game that I don't own is a big old beast of a game. I mean, well, not in gameplay, but in size of the box. And that is Return to Dark Tower. Now, I've played this game at least about 4 times, and I've really enjoyed every play of it. It's a cooperative game where we take on the role of heroes, and we're moving around the world trying to cleanse, gaining resources, getting rid of fighting monsters, cleansing buildings and stuff like that. And eventually we got to deal with a big baddie that's coming out. The thing about this is, there is a dark tower in the middle of the board, and it lights up. It's electronic. And so there are skulls that are popping out of the tower out onto the board, and we have to deal with those skulls pretty much. And I really enjoyed the game. It's set in a fantasy world, of course, and I really enjoyed working together. There is a competitive mode, but I enjoy the cooperative mode. And like I said, it has a table presence that like people will walk by and like, okay, what's that? And of course, Ted, he has the upgraded game, the deluxe, super deluxe version. So he has all the neoprene mat and everything. And like I said, I've enjoyed my plays of the game, and I definitely look forward to playing it. Whenever they choose to play it, I'm like, yep, I'm on board, because I really do like that game. And that is Return to Dark Tower. So the game that's sitting at number 1 is a game. If you would have asked me this question a few months ago, this probably would have been lower on the list, because I played it. My friend Ted, he has the super deluxe version of this game, and I played it, and I was like, I can see why people like it, but it just wasn't hitting me until recently. I played it again, and it finally clicked. And the game is called Castles of Burgundy. Now, I know a lot of you are sitting out there, your mouth open, because you're like, this game is one of my favorite. How can this, why did it take you some time? I don't know. But that playing this game prompted me to do our video last week where we talked about our best games that have dice that are in collection. Unfortunately, this game is not in my collection, our collection rather, so I couldn't put it on the list. But Castles of Burgundy, I can see why it's rated so high on Board Game Geek. So in Castles of Burgundy, you're rolling your dice, and then based on the pip value of the dice, you either claim a tile that's out in the middle of the board from that where in that area that matches that pip value, or you get to build it out onto your personal kingdom that matches that pip value. You know, so you're either doing one or the other, and you're trying to gain like points by as much livestock that you have, or you know, being the first to get all your castles and stuff, you know, out on the board. And of course, Ted, like I said, he has the ones with the big castles, so you know those things are sweet. And you can get workers, which workers help you change the pip value. You're also going to market. You know, you're selling things at the market. And it clicked for me last time, and I was playing. I was doing really well, and then I saw a strategy that Ted was doing, and I said, you know what? Let me. I was interested enough to see how his strategy worked, and I could have blocked him, but I didn't because I want to see how it plays off. And he ended up winning, and even though I didn't win, I don't even think I came in second, or I think I came in third in a 3-player game, but I really, really enjoyed it. And my board game group, they know I really enjoy games. Like I said, when I asked, does this have a solo mode? And it does. Now, out of the games that's on this list, there's 2 I can see Alicia might be interested in trying. One is Rococo because of the theme, and one is Castles of Burgundy because, like I said, it's a low rule set. You're rolling dice and you're assigning those dice. And I really, really, really enjoyed Castles of Burgundy. So that is my number 1 favorite game that I do not own. So there you have it, my 5 favorite board games that are not in our collection. Now, if these board games were in the collection, I'm not sure where they will fall in my favorite board games of all time. I can honestly say that Castles of Burgundy might crack the top 10, but there's a few things to take away from this. One, board games can be expensive. Like all 5 of the board games, I think Orleans will probably be the cheapest. All the other games are pretty expensive, and I can't get all the board games. So I really have to play. I have some great board games in the collection, so I really make a great effort to play the board games that I have. But the other thing I could take away from this is appreciation. Appreciation for my Friday night board game group. I remember, I think I met them in 2018. They were playing board games at a local board game store. And I would come in and I would just watch, you know, and they were very approachable, very nice, you know, very cool. And eventually they invited me to play board games with them. And ever since then, they have become really great friends, you know, and they have introduced me to so many different board games. And so I appreciate them because I'm able to try different board games without having to go buy them all the time, you know. And that's another thing that I could take away, or you could take away from this, is when we're trying to introduce people into the hobby or trying to get people to play board games, we ourselves have to be approachable. We have to be willing. We have to be patient. We have to be able to teach. You know, I love to teach board games, and I love introducing people to board games. And so we definitely have to make sure we're doing our part, you know. But there you have it. I'm not going to keep you much longer. So in the comments below, let me know, do you have a favorite board game that you don't own? You know, and I mean, it could be a game that you play on Board Game Arena, I guess. You know, I prefer the aesthetics of a game, the physical aesthetic presence of the game. But yeah, it could be a game that you play on Board Game Arena. And also, feel free to give a shout out to somebody that has taught you board games and is welcoming and approachable and has been very patient and that you see. Give a shout out to that person. And if you like the contents of this video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm Dwayne. This has been Blackboard Gaming, and we will see you next time.